Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you are a returning listener, it is great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, we're really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So today we're going to be talking about the lock-in mindset. We're going to talk about how you can focus on your goals without burning out. And this is super important because so many of us just kind of drift. We take what life throws at us. We don't have a plan. We don't set aside time. We don't intentionally plan to go after the things that are important to us. And that's what this is about. So we're going to just jump into it, but I wanted to give you kind of a precursor of what it is we're talking about. So if you want to get laser focused, if you want to set up your life so that you can go after the things that are most important to you, stay tuned because we're going to show you how to do it. So most people drift through life reacting to whatever's in front of them, like we just talked about. Not the people who build meaningful, disciplined lives. They do something different. They lock in. They focus. Not for a day, not for a week, for a whole season, for a long time. Today, we're going to talk about what that means and how you live a lock-in mindset, why it works, how it rewires your brain, how you can build the mental toughness to stay focused when everything around you is designed to distract you. So let's just get right into it from there. Number one, what is the lock-in mindset? What the hell are we talking about when we say that? The lock-in mindset is a mental state of focused intensity over time. Cutting distractions, saying no to noise, committing fully to a single goal or discipline, period. All right? It's focus. It's maniacal focus on something important to you. So TikTok, YouTube, there's creators that are doing 30 to 90 day lock-in or winter arc challenges. That's essentially what we're talking about. Isolating yourself from social distractions to transform your health, your business, or your habits. It's up to you. It's your life. You get to choose it. The point is choose it and go after it. So there's scientific data behind this and why it works. Cognitive psychologist Daniel Kahneman's research on attention and limited cognitive bandwidth shows that deep, focused attention increases performance and satisfaction because it limits mental task switching, the scattering, the go from this to that, having to refocus. It eliminates all of that. He published that in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow in 2011. You've probably seen Andrew Huberman on YouTube. He's a research scientist at Stanford. So he calls it neurochemical reward loop, the neurochemical reward loop. When you stay focused, dopamine levels stabilize instead of spiking and crashing, making discipline easier over a period of time. So we want to smooth out those distractions, smooth out those little dopamine hits we get from notifications, from scrolling on social media, from whatever it is, going up and grabbing a snack, whatever it is that you're doing that's distracting you. We're going to get rid of that over time, and it's going to level out our dopamine. It's going to make it easier for us to get into focus and really grind on things that are important to us. So our action step on this one is we're going to pick our area for 30 days. Doesn't matter if it's fitness, maybe it's your finances, maybe you are writing a book or starting a side gig, whatever. Pick whatever is important to you. That's what you're going to lock in on. That's going to be what you focus on in your lock-in period. Now, we want you to define exactly what you're locking in on. I want to have my business plan when I come out of this 30-day period. I want to have changed these 3 habits when I come out of this period. I want to have a clear financial picture and started paying down debt when I come out. Whatever it is, you've got to be specific. We need SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. You also have to define what you're going to get rid of to achieve this. Because if you're going to start doing new things, you have to stop doing things that you do right now that are unproductive. Maybe it's scrolling social media. Maybe it's binge watching Netflix. Maybe it's going out and screwing around too much and not being focused on the things that are important to you. Maybe you got to eliminate those for 30 days. Those got to go away if you're going to do something that you've never done before to get a result you've never gotten before. Write it down and then tell somebody important to you. Most important, tell somebody who will give you shit if you don't do it. Somebody will say, you said you were going to do this. Why aren't you doing it? How are you doing on that? Why are you not focused on it? Why are you not doing what you said you were going to do? That's the person you want to tell it to because they're going to be your little conscience. They're going to help you stay focused to get this thing started. Okay. All right. Number 2, we were going to learn to build mental endurance. We're not going to rely on motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation fades. Discipline endures. Your system endures. The lock-in mindset is about building mental endurance through systems. It gives you the capacity to keep showing up even when it's boring, even when you don't want to, even when the excitement is gone. And that's what successful people do. Successful people are really good at doing boring shit that's important over and over and over again. Hate to break it to you, it's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be easy. You're not always going to like it, but it's going to lead you to success if you can learn to lock in and embrace the suck. Get after the things that are important, but are not fun or are boring, and you're going to be successful. A Stanford study by our favorite, Angela Duckworth, you know we love her. She wrote the book Grit, and that study shows that grit, perseverance towards long-term goals, predicted success more accurately than IQ, than talent, than genetics, than finance. Grit, persistence towards long-term goals. When you refuse to quit, you can usually find a way. Those are the people that make it, and the people that don't have that grit are the ones that fail. Real straightforward. In neurobiology, repeated disciplined action strengthens the basal ganglia. That's the part of the brain that stores habits, making consistent action more automatic over time. That's from Graybiel study published from MIT. So let me say that again. In neurobiology, repeated disciplined action strengthens the basal ganglia, which is the part of the brain that stores habits, that makes you more consistent in taking action and more automatic over time. So our action step here is we're going to replace saying I'll try with I'll train. You're going to treat yourself like you're an athlete who's conditioning, who's getting ready for a game, for a sport, for a tryout. Every day you're going to do a rep or the number of reps that you can commit to of focused discipline. You're going to be an athlete like that. If you're a writer, you're going to write 1 page, period, every day, no matter what. If you're a weightlifter, you're going to lift 1 more set or do 1 set every day, period, no matter what. If you're focused on business and you're in sales, you're going to make a sales call every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you think you're going to be told no, even when you think it's hopeless. You're going to do it anyway because you're building the mental fortitude to push through the shitty part. It's going to rewire your brain for consistency rather than giving in to the cravings that we all give into. And I'm just as guilty of it as anyone else, but I'm telling you what works. I'm better at it in some parts of my life than others, but this is scientifically proven to help you build grit, to help you lock in, to help you pursue the things that are important to you. Okay, number 3, we can't ignore the environment that we operate in. We only have so much willpower. It's like any other muscle. It tires out and pretty soon you can't use it anymore. Environment is permanent. You can stack your environment to give you the best chance of success possible. People who lock in don't rely on self-control alone. They engineer their surroundings. Research on choice architecture from Thaler and Sunstein, which was in a book called Nudge in 2008, shows that environmental design influences behavior more than conscious intention. So if you're around the distractions, if you're around the things that you give into, it doesn't matter how conscious you are of it, your willpower will fade and you will give into those things eventually. Similarly, a study from Duke University found that 45% of our daily behaviors are habitual and cued by environment, not deliberate decision. That's from a study published by Wood and others out of Duke in 2002. So we need to design our environment to set ourselves up for success. Our action step here is to do an audit on our environment for our distractions. Take apps off your phone. Silence the notifications on them. Keep your workspace clean. Keep everything organized. Move your phone out of reach when you go into your focus periods. Don't look at your phone for the first 2 or 3 hours of the day. Get rid of those distractions. Create friction for the bad habits. Like we talked about, delete the apps, unplug your television, take the batteries out of your remote, get rid of the snacks on your counter, hide them somewhere, get them out of your house, replace them with apples. All of those are environmental changes you can make to set yourself up for success. And we're going to do that. So audit your environment and create friction to do the stuff that doesn't help you and make it easy to do the stuff that does help you. Okay, number 4, we need to learn to embrace productive isolation. We don't need to be entertained all the time. We don't need to be around people all the time. We don't need to be interacting with other people or electronics all the time. The lock-in mindset requires time alone, not loneliness, but solitude for reflection and recalibration. Studies on solitude published by Long and Averill in the Journal for the Theory of Social Behavior in 2003 show that intentional alone time improves emotional regulation, self-concept clarity, and creative thinking. Those are all great things. We need time to ourselves to think, gather our thoughts, put our plans together. Psychologist Mihail, and this is difficult to say, but it's worth because this guy studied flow state. His name is Mihail Csikszentmihalyi. Csikszentmihalyi. He was born in Hungary, moved to the United States. He did a bunch of research on flow state, when things just become natural, when people become excellent at something and it just flows for them. His research on flow states reveals that isolation and focus are precursors to deep engagement and fulfillment. So if we want to get into this flow state, if we want to get into this lock-in mindset, we need to learn to value time to ourselves without stimulation, without entertainment, to think, to actually plan, to do the deep mind work that we need to be successful at these things. So your action step here is to schedule deep work blocks, 90 minutes of solitude with no interruptions, no phone, no computer, no social media, no noise in the background, just you and your thoughts, pen, paper, fine. But 3 times a week, we're going to do that for 90 minutes. Use that time for your most important creative or strategic work. Not sending emails, not reactive tasks. It's about focusing on the things that we want to accomplish only for those 3 blocks of 90 minutes a week. That's where we're going to start. Okay, number 5. We can't expect this to be easy. We have to be ready for resistance, and we're going to learn to push through it. Discomfort is the entrance fee to greatness. Everybody suffers. You have to choose how you suffer. If you don't want to suffer now and you go for the instant gratification, the small dopamine hit, whether that's driving through and picking up fast food, whether it's watching Netflix instead of going to the gym, whether it's hitting the snooze button instead of getting up and doing your journal and going out for a walk, you are trading that short-term comfort for the long-term pain that's coming, because you're going to suffer down the road because you chose to be comfortable now instead of doing the work for an outsized reward down the road. Okay? Your brain is going to rebel against this concept. Your brain is going to rebel against the lock-in concept because it's used to novelty and instant gratification. We've got to rewire our brains and change that. So, dopamine adaptation studies from Treadway and others in 2012 show that short-term rewards train the brain to seek quick hits, while delayed rewards, like we're talking about here, build resilience and long-term satisfaction. So, said differently, you can get a little bit of happiness now, or you can do the hard work and do some suffering now and some, good Lord, what's the word I'm looking for? Sacrifice now for a long-term, much bigger and better rewards down the road, okay? This all happens in our prefrontal cortex. That's responsible, the area of our brain that's responsible for discipline and planning. We want to engage that, and we're going to strengthen it through resisting temptation, much like a muscle, right? So the prefrontal cortex can be trained just like a muscle. That's from research published by Hetherington and Wagner in their book Neuron in 2011. So we're going to rewire our brain to stop seeking the short-term gratification and embrace the sacrifice now for long-term gratification or delayed gratification down the road. So how are we going to do that? That sounds great. How do you do it? Here's how you do it. Each time you feel that resistance, you feel the tug towards your phone, or to grab your remote and turn the TV on, or to wander upstairs and grab a candy bar. Well, it doesn't matter if it's from boredom, doesn't matter if it's from doubt, I'll never get this done, I'm not good enough, I can't stick to this, or you're just tired. You need to label it. Just say it. This is my brain craving easy. This is me trying to go back on what I said I was going to do. This is my brain not accepting that we're doing this different now. Then you're going to give yourself 5 minutes. You're going to take a 5-minute pause. You're going to do 5 more minutes of whatever it is you're doing before deciding to stop. Those urges typically last about 90 seconds. What you'll find is if you can push through the 5 minutes, those urges have gone away and you're still in your flow state and you've resisted the temptation. You've stopped the resistance and worked through the resistance, and you keep going. It's beautiful. Most of the time, that momentum will take over at that point, and that urge is gone, and you're still cranking away. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, our last thing here, we need to redefine progress. We need to redefine what it looks like. This is not going to be perfect. This is not a linear path from where you are to where you want to be. There will be obstacles. There will be setbacks. You'll fuck it up. It's going to happen. What we want is the trend line on the graph. If you've ever seen a graph with stuff plotted all over it, you put a trend line for the general direction that things are heading. And we want to focus on the general direction of heading towards the things that we're working on and that were important to us. The key here is to fall in love with the process that we're undertaking rather than obsess over each particular outcome. So, behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner showed that variable reinforcement, small unpredictable wins, keeps motivation high. Celebrating progress, not perfection, sustains engagement. So when I was coaching baseball or I was coaching sports, I used to tell all my assistant coaches, we coach the approach. We don't coach the outcome. So if we want to coach people to be good hitters, we don't focus on them getting hits. We focus on them taking the approach at the plate that good hitters take. Good hitters know what the pitcher throws. Good hitters know what counts they hit better in. Good hitters know what they do with their hands, with their hips, with their feet, with their head. They understand situational awareness. What is the situation in the game that I'm coming up to the plate at, and what is my job right now? They understand all of those things, and we coached those things. If you got a hit, that was the icing on the cake. The cake was the approach. And if you took what we called quality at-bats, where you went up with a plan in mind and executed that plan, it doesn't matter if you get a hit or not. You took a quality at-bat, you did the best you could. That's a win, and we celebrated that. And we pointed those things out, especially when things didn't go the way guys wanted to. When you come up with the bases loaded and you hit a double, you get pretty instant feedback that, hey, things went the way I wanted them to. If you take a good at-bat and hit a line drive right at the right fielder, that's all you can do. Sometimes it's not going to go your way. Sometimes it's not your day. And that's okay. You did your job. You took a quality at bat. You put a ball in play, and you took a good approach as a hitter. You did the things a good hitter does. You just didn't get lucky that time. It is what it is. So we need to celebrate those things because, and neuroscience confirms this, the brain releases dopamine not just from the achievement, but from perceived progress towards meaningful goals. That's from Knudsen and Greer in their book Neuroimage in 2008. So let's say that again. Neuroscience confirms that the brain releases dopamine not just from achievement, but from perceived progress toward meaningful goals. So we need to celebrate the little wins. We need to be cognizant of the fact we're improving. We're getting better. The process is working. We're working towards our goal. We might not be where we want to be. It might not have gone exactly the way we wanted it to go, but we're making progress, and we're going to learn to love that because falling in love with the process will get us to the end goal eventually. Okay? So our action step on this one is we're going to end each day with a journal that's got 3 lines. You're going to write 3 different things each day. What did I do that moved me closer to my goal today? What distracted me and stopped me from working as hard as I could towards my goal today? And what am I going to improve tomorrow? This trains awareness, it trains accountability, and it provides daily reflection, the foundation of long-term mastery, because we're judging our progress and we're tweaking our approach to continue to move towards the outcome that we want. We're coaching ourselves on the approach. That's all we're doing. It's a beautiful thing, and it will work. Okay, so that's the argument today, guys. That's the lock-in mindset. Those are the steps that you can take to achieve this. Let's just buzz through those again real quick, right? Step 1 is, what is the lock-in mindset? We described that. What are we going to do? We're going to define what it is that we're locking in on. Maybe it's business, maybe it's health, maybe it's nutrition. Doesn't matter what it is. You get to choose it, but you're going to lock in on something for 30 days. Then we're going to learn to build a mental endurance, not just motivation. Remember, we said we're going to replace I'll try with I'll train, like an athlete. We're going to put ourselves in that same situation where an athlete keeps doing the work and progressing towards their goal. Number 3 is our environment. We're going to do an audit on our environment. We're going to get rid of the distractions, or at least make it really hard to go towards the distractions. And we're going to set things up to give ourselves, our environment up, to give ourselves the best chance possible to be successful. We're going to learn to embrace productive isolation. We're going to schedule those 3 90-minute blocks like we talked about. No phone, no distractions, intense focus, 3 times a week for 90 minutes. Number 5, we're going to expect resistance because we know it's coming. We're going to train through it. We're going to name it when it happens. This is my brain craving easy. This is my brain trying to sabotage me. I can outsmart it. I'm going to go for 5 more minutes. That craving is going to be gone in 90 seconds. Push through it, and you're on the other side, and you're good to go. And the last one, redefine progress. Celebrate the small wins. It's not going to be perfect. Pay attention to the little wins. Use those as trail markers to show that you're progressing towards your long-term goal. Those things will work if we do it. We're going to do that in our journal at the end of every day, like we talked about. Look, the lock-in mindset's not about punishment. It's not about austerity. It's about precision. It's about intention. It's saying, for this season in my life, I'm all in on this one thing. I'm going to commit to it because it's important to me. When you make that decision, distractions lose their power. They're not important to you anymore because you're focused on what is important to you. You stop chasing dopamine and start chasing excellence. And that's a great place for all of us to be in our lives. Discipline is not confinement. We can't think about it that way. Discipline is actually freedom with direction. Once we've decided what's important to us and what we're going to focus on, it makes life so easy. It's very freeing because you don't care about the other stuff. You only care about what you're focused on, and it's a beautiful thing. You can pursue it and you can achieve it because you're focused on it. All right, so that's our episode for today, guys. Look, James puts it up over here every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are there. Links to all our social media accounts are available there. We've got a newsletter we publish every weekday you can subscribe to on our website. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. We interview great guests that share what they've learned about life and give you tips that you can incorporate into your life to pursue meaningful, purposeful things to you. We do episodes like this that give you tangible things you can start working on right now to build the life that you want. It's all good stuff. You don't want to miss any of it because it's super helpful to help you build the life that you want. Make sure you catch our next episode. We'll see you there.